Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another series called Minecraft Player Case Files. My previous videos in this series on JSpark have been hated on for the most part, and that's because it looks as though I only focus on wanting to slam others. That's not necessarily the case, however. I make videos like this as a community warning for the people who play the servers that we play, for the people in the circle of RP servers that we come from, and for anyone who might encounter the player in the future. So now that that's established, let's get on with the video. Consider Dom another JSpark, but less controversial. But especially, he hates on others, and uses what he can to make others look bad, so he can look better. My first real affiliation with him was when we collaborated our opinions on JSpark together to get the truth out about him. There was this time where JSpark tried to report a player, but it completely backfired, and the response of that report turned into 3 to 5 players making statements about him. That was an alliance. We stood by each other for that moment because we had the same enemy. But prior to that, he would occasionally talk trash about me, and when AC's trailer released, he accused me of trying to partner up with them. He also slammed my server known as Marvel MC, despite not joining since 2016. After I made a huge report that led to JSpark being banned, this made Dom the new #1 toxic player of JC. On October 5th, 2018, he was exposed for trying to ERP with Della, begging for pictures of her face, and trying his hardest to flirt with her, etc. And he did similar things with Shredder X-Boy. The screenshot you see in the background will start off as evidence of this. The Discord conversation that shows him with the Discord name Domoniquaaaa is harassing Shredder in one conversation. The ones with his name set as Roy Harper is a different conversation from a different time of him harassing Ella. And the snapshot conversation logs would also be him harassing Ella on another platform. The way he was exposed was via a Discord dummy. A friend of mine from DCU, another server, we'll get back to that, made an alternative Discord account called Mindman/Anonymous Dominique. They joined both Justice Network Discord servers and casted all the screenshots along with a message that basically stated to be a little more respectful of the community's females, because Dom makes the second player to make a big impact on them like this after JSpark was revealed to have ERP'd. This account was renamed to Shredder X-Boy to put all the blame on her, but I know who it is. I have a confession on my computer. In late December of 2018, Ella was continuously harassed through text messages due to Dom giving out Ella's phone number to one of his troll partners. Sadly, I don't have permission to show screenshots of that, however. Coincidentally, he had the same reaction to being exposed as JSpark did. He threatened to quit and was just done with it all out of disappointment for himself. Prior to being exposed, the dummy account was removed, and then Dom proceeded to slam them when they were no longer around. This is where I come in. Like I said before, this is a friend of mine from the DCU server. I wasn't going to let my friend be disrespected like that, so I told Dom, without disrespect, that the alt isn't scared of him, isn't scared of anyone. He immediately went in defense mode by trying to claim I admit to being Mindman and others just by saying that. A whole argument started in this JC Discord server because of this. I'll include screenshots of what happened in order. I recommend reading it actually. While going through the history of screenshotting things, I had a few laughs at the funny things Dom used to talk garbage about me. Feel free. In summary, When Dom is made the bad guy, he plays the victim and holds a grudge. But what he does the most is use whatever he can, whatever he has, against someone, whether it's true or not true. And my apologies for the bad quality of the screenshots due to no longer being in the JC Discord. I had to screenshot a screen share of my friend searching up the history. So that's the background of who he is from JC. Now let's get into what happens on the DCU Discord server. After getting banned for griefing JC, Dom migrated over to DCU, where he disrespected Ella after she had resigned. Once again, a person who was no longer affiliated and could not defend themselves. When Shredder was banned from the server, he later on slammed her as well. There's one thing in common about all these people he talks about, and it's that he has never bashed anyone where they can have the opportunity to rest their case. He's been getting into me lately by trying to get me banned, accusing me of everything, disrespecting my channel, and using past drama to get to my head. I haven't done anything to him recently. Our last beef was when I was on the same side as a person who exposed him for his sexual tendencies behind closed doors. One day, he almost had me. He almost had what he wanted. He made an attack on me in a way I can't go into details on, but just know it was to a point where I had to just stay calm and just calmly confront him about it professionally in our DMs and hope for the best. That's where I got something interesting. On February 10th, 2019, I asked him if he had a problem with me, not involving any drama, just between us. I was also informed that with what he was doing, he wasn't just affecting me. I was trying to inform him that what he was doing was going to harm both of us, along with a DCU player that hasn't done anything wrong to anyone, an innocent player. His response was basically that he didn't care and that he's alright as long as I go down with him. After saying this, he deleted the message and blocked me, but luckily I pressed my screenshot button at the right time. Time has passed in between that and what's happened between Ella and Shredder on DCU, but now he is a promoted staff member who is potentially causing other staff members and a few players to leave the server. Destruction to a DC server that's actually good. I have a guest joining me in this video to discuss a few recent incidents and to clarify that a few of things that I'm actually saying is true. To clarify that there are other people who think this way, this is also going to prove that when I make videos like this, it's not just my word against someone I hate. I speak for myself, but also for those who feel as though they have no power over the environment these Minecraft servers are becoming because of these toxic players. So please welcome Danielle. Welcome Danielle to my channel. First, let me just say thank you for joining us. Before we get straight into the questions, do you have anything you'd like to say to DCU in regards to Dominique?
Probably pick your people better.
Pick your people better. I agree. Alright,
Yeah.
Question number 1. Before Dom became staff, how was he as a player?
Oh, well, we were friends. He was very nice. We competed in the levels because at the time I was the highest in the ME6 levels, and we were always competing who would get to the top, and it was really fun. So yeah, but he was always getting into fights with Shredder and some other people.
By ME6, you mean the Discord bot?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's not surprising that he was nice to you. He's nice to all the female players, but that's another story. We won't get into that. Alright, question number 2. How exactly is he now after becoming a moderator? Is he any different?
He became very strict, but you would usually expect that of staff to become strict. But it was to the point where if he did something wrong as staff because he didn't know as much of how to be staff on DCU because he was new, he would call people for harassment, even though they're trying to help him.
Let's get into what happened when you shared your video in hashtag self-promotions. How was Dom acting in this scenario compared to all the other staff members? So, like, when you shared your video in hashtag self-promotions, the channel, and a couple staff members went in on you for, I guess, you weren't allowed to put the video there. What happened there? And how was Dom acting?
In that scenario, I posted a video from my channel on self-promotion that
like you normally do.
Yeah, that people have been talking about before because it related to something that we talked about in a conversation. And I have posted videos that were not related to the server several times before.
Right.
And in this particular scenario, the problem was that at the end of the title, there was the name of another server, which was very small, but fair enough if he had a trouble with that. I did edit it so that it fit his requirement, but it still continued, and he made fun of my channel. And then other staff went in and told me off for not respecting him, which I, at the time, and still at the moment, find unfair.
This was recent, and I was muted several times that day for, I don't know actually, but here's what happened. I was defending you because I didn't think staff members had a reason to come at you for sharing videos in the self-promotions channel. And I was not the only one. There was one other person also defending you. They have a big problem when it comes to players having a voice. If they see a player disagreeing with staff, instead of letting us have a confined discussion, they tell us to basically let the staff member be right or we be muted. They said that if we'd like to argue, then we'd have to come on the server and use the courtroom. I understand that. I'd probably do the same thing for Marvel MC, because that's a very smart thing to do. It's very mature. It teaches players to not fight about everything. Things can just be a conversation, you know? The issue is, this was all happening on the Discord server. So I told them, and I quote, well, unfortunately, we won't always be able to join the server over some bullshit. They didn't say anything in regards to that, but before that, I asked what channel is the Discord server's court. And then Red Hood, aka Primes, told me to keep it to myself instead. I laughed, I said my LOLs because despite telling us to use the court, I was told to keep everything to myself. And then I got a last warning for saying LOL. At this point, I stopped talking about the matter at hand, but I continued to glow everything by saying the word merge with a derpy capitalization. This was an irrelevant thing to say, so in other words, I did let it go. I didn't move on, but I was still muted for 2 hours for saying that. Merge is an inside joke. I'll get to that either in the description or later in the video. But that's why I was muted the first time, for saying merge. After I was muted, Dom instigated it by saying the famous Roblox word oof. And before the chat was cleared, he actually said double oof after an administrator said, and I quote, "We don't merge with dog shit," which is both a staff member gloating the players after they are consequenced and Dom clowning them along the way. So my fourth question to you, Daniel, is, shortly after this and that 20-page report on Dom made by you, Dom was promoted to admin. What are your thoughts on that?
I left the Discord server because of it. I tried to be as polite as I could to Axon Grayson, or Gal, as some people know him, because it's majorly not their fault, except that they see the best in people, which is appreciated, but it's not always good, because they see the best in a person who hasn't shown it, and that hope is what I think ruining the server.
Right. Yeah, they've been taking a few breaks. They don't have enough context. It's hard to get context when you've been away for so long. But like I said, Dom clowning people, trolling people, and being annoying, but at the same time trying to be above them, it's only encouraging people to continue to be douches toward him and the other staff members. The next day, I responded to something Red Hood said prior to me being muted. After Chloe asked, was this all necessary in this channel? What Primes had said was, this all wasn't necessary and we aren't moving a fight to another channel, lol, or an argument. My response was, well, it wasn't necessary to give me a final warning for saying lol, then a mute for saying merge. I was told to move on from the topic at hand. That's what I did. Was never told I'd get muted for typing another message. Then I plugged the word merge at the end of my non-hostile statement, and I was muted for another hour. And Dom glowed at me once again and says, never learns. I'm starting to get a little off the focus of Dominique and more on DCU staff as a whole. What I'm trying to say is, because of Dom's hate toward me and a few others, because of how biased he is, I'm now a target for the whole staff team. A big eye is on me for every little thing I do. I was once helping a new player and he called me a perv for using the winky face in my messages. Daniel, my fifth question to you would be, why do you think we're not allowed to defend ourselves, or as they call it, disagree with staff, or fighting the staff members? There is such thing as devoted players having a mature discussion with upper authority. But I'd like your opinion on that. Why do you think we're not allowed to defend ourselves?
I think it's because it questions, they think that it questions their authority, even though that it doesn't. A staff member always likes to be right, and they don't like it when players say that they're wrong. They feel like their rank has been lowered and that them being moderator doesn't make them special anymore, or whatever rank they are. But that you're not giving any player input or view, and that's what a server should be about, improving it for the community and having a good community.
I agree. They'd make themselves look much better if they can accept being wrong one time. It's like, okay, you're right. Good point. My apologies. We'll move on from this. We'll take this into consideration. That'd make them a much better server. Because if a player knows that there's something not right about the way they're doing things, and they still take action on them, it frustrates players. And then they carry it with them. And then they look bad. My sixth and final question is, do you think the DCU server would be better off with Dom completely off the server, or just without the staff rank, and why?
Well, we saw how Dom behaved without the staff rank, didn't we?
Oh yeah, it was the same. He didn't act much different.
No, if anything, I would say it was worse. For some reason, my report wasn't left anonymous, but that could have been entirely because I left my name on the report. But I don't know why it wasn't particularly left anonymous. He knew that I was the one who reported him. Therefore, he directed a lot of hate against me, and he also had some of his friends direct that against me. And I think that seeing him as the perfect golden boy for staff is not a good it doesn't show a good outlook for the server. So I think he shouldn't be staff, but maybe not on the server as well, because he was causing arguments before he was even staff.
I agree. So you tried to be anonymous, but that didn't work out?
My name was on the report, but he didn't read the report until much later on. So he knew my name and that I reported him before reading the report from what I saw from his messages, because only later he said, oh, ha, 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 you've reported this for me, and doing whatever funny emojis.
Oh, he trolled you.
Yeah, so I don't appreciate the lack of anonymous outlook from the staff team, only because of the amount of hatred that I received from him and his friends.
I'm sorry you had to go through this. I'm sorry a few DCU players had to go through this. DCU is a great server. It's definitely a community upgrade from JC. The reason why action isn't just taking on Dom so the server can move on is because the owner Grayson has been taking a break from it all, and he is very confused and giving more chances because he wants to believe in the best of people, as you said earlier. But sadly, he clearly hasn't added enough context before giving these chances. As a result, there's a toxic player who is now one of the highest staff members. Hopefully this video gives him an idea of what's going wrong while he's away. DCU lost its only YouTuber, only active filmer, and one of the most loyal and active members of the community, and that's you, Danielle. And for undisclosed reasons, staff members have been leaving the Discord server, being put on the standby role, and being convinced to join back. So who knows what else is falling apart in what was once the best DC server. Thanks for being here, Danielle. Any final things you'd like to say?
I just hope it gets better in the future. I very much enjoyed my stay in the first couple of months, so hopefully it goes back to that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed DCU as well. I donated a lot because I want to help them. I want to keep their website up. I'm really friends with Grayson and was friends with Axe. So I helped keep the website up. They helped me, I helped them. I think they deserve to be up. I think it was a really good server at some point. But Dom is secretly tearing them down. And it's not their fault because they don't see what's going on. They've been handling things in real life. So they need to get caught up with what's going on. So hopefully it will get better at some point.
Can I just mention that Axe has said several times that most of the staff weren't treating him properly, which is why he was taking a lot of breaks.
Also, that's why he's been gone. Because I haven't heard
Yeah.
from Axe either.
He said it in Minecraft chat, so if you scroll up enough, there's a deep chat between me, him, Roy, and Damien, all trying to cheer him up because he was really down from the way that people were treating him and saying that everyone ignores me except you guys.
Interesting. Well, thanks for being here. I think a second opinion in this video will definitely give them the impression that I'm not just slamming the server, that I think there's something wrong that needs to be fixed. Thanks for being here. It means a lot.
Thank you.
So that's all for this interview. Let's get back on with the video. So that was what Danielle had to say. She formerly did videos for DCU and was quite the devoted player. Sadly, Dom had to ruin that for DCU by choosing her as one of the people he holds such a big grudge against. I recently started a DC server project, and if anyone's interested in being of assistance, let me know in the comments below. Also, what do you think of the chemistry? She agreed on my proposition to make videos when my DC server is complete, and I don't mind doing a collab. Anyways, before the video ends here are a few screenshots of other DCU affiliates giving their overall opinions of Domonique. Just know that this doesn't mean DC has bad potential. Just has a problem that servers tend to have, and it's going to take time to get rid of. That's it for this video. See you guys all again next time. Goodbye.